I'm just going to do a short video. I've been doing a lot of filming lately and probably not as much commentary. The false flag alien invasion that Dr. Greer talks about, I've been a pretty big critic for that for quite some time because of how long it's been going on for. But I think I'm going to have to, unfortunately, man up and apologize to him and some of his subscribers because I didn't think this was going to happen. A lot of the anomalies that I'm filming lately, and other people that have their own cameras and their little YouTube channels, other primary research candidates like myself that we do our own filming, are starting to, we're all starting to film very similar things. And I think I know why. The alien invasion, the false flag alien invasion, I didn't think that could ever be possible to pull off something globally like that. But I was wrong, and I think Dr. Greer is right. Now, I don't remember him saying, so I'm sorry. I was wrong. I have to man up and call a spade a spade. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So I do think it can happen now, unfortunately. And I'm going to share with you my idea, which I don't think is any rocket science here. It's just my own research and my own footage and analyzing a lot of other films that I haven't shared to the public. When you think about a false flag alien invasion, one of the things that I recall Dr. Greer saying is, hey, don't be alarmed. They're going to have these alien reproduction vehicles. They could have nanobots flying them and little people. They are real alien reproduction vehicles, and they could produce a lot of them. Well, if they produce a lot of those ARVs, these anti-gravity crafts, we would have to figure out how they get into power. Is it zero-point energy, or is it something more like Bob Lazar with the element 115? Gets into a particle smasher, smash that. They have a shelf life of 116. 116 is antimatter. Remember, antimatter is very, very expensive to create. And if you were to create antimatter, I believe it would take every single ounce of money, effort, and resources just to produce like 2 or 3 ounces of it. But those 2 or 3 ounces of it could power a spacecraft, perhaps, here around the galaxy or something to that effect. But the real issue is we just don't have the resources. So how are these anti-gravity craft powered? Now, if they were powered, would we really take the liability and fly them all around the globe? The RQ-170 was actually hijacked by a computer programmer from Iran in an airplane that flew next to that stealth, high technological advanced stealth craft that was a drone that was produced by, I think, Northrop Grumman. And they broke into the computer system and actually got it to land in Iran. Now, you would be having other people flying those type of crafts, but we have crashes all the time. For example, we had a stealth helicopter that crashed. We killed Osama bin Laden. If antimatter and anti-gravity technology is a higher security clearance than the H-bomb, which I do agree with Dr. Greer on it is, then we might have some of them, possibly, but I don't think we would have tens of thousands of them flying around. And if we did have 10 of them, would we run the risk of flying this over Russia or over some other areas? You see, part of Dr. Greer's message is don't be afraid of it. It's us. It's the military-industrial complex. Well, instead of aliens, not real aliens, it's us. Well, I don't think that reduces anybody's fear. I think it makes it worse because the military-industrial complex, and like you say, Dr. Greer, we're more aggressive than the aliens itself. So if I were to see crafts or a real alien invasion, I would actually hope it is real aliens. instead of our military-industrial complex, because we're the aggressors. We're the ones that want war, and we're the ones that are being quarantined, so to say, and or power hungry, New World Order, Illuminati stuff, whatever you want to say. But knowing it's the dark side of the government, the shadow government, the military-industrial complex that's flying these aircrafts doesn't set well with a lot of people. So that's no comfort to say it's ours, don't fall for it. In fact, I think it makes it worse. I'd rather have real aliens if that was the case, to be honest with you. But I don't think it's going to go down with these nanobots and these little people flying these real alien reproduction vehicles. It's not going to go that way. The resources and the money to create those vehicles is way too much money, and the risk of crashing it or being hacked into or anything happening is too severe, because that is a higher clearance than the H-bomb. The H-bomb, remember, only utilizes about 1% of its total energy when ignited. You have a full antimatter craft, or let's just say rotating magnets or mercury-based plasma with a magnetic field director, or if you got whatever it is, TR3 technology. Like Ben Rich said, they're gonna defend that, okay, and protect that, and take an act of God to get it out for the public or to give it to any other country. They're not going to fly those around with little people flying those crafts. I'm sorry. So what are they going to do? Well, based on the anomalies that I'm filming, they're so often, they're so frequent, and they're so somewhat consistent that I've just started to do a lot of investigative work to follow these. I found out these crafts are black, they're dark and gray, there's no windows, and these crafts are holographic three-dimensional projectors that are located on them in multiple spots. And inside of that craft, there is another craft that's a different shape and size, which I'm not going to mention or describe its characteristics. I've seen it. It's pretty amazing. I'm not going to tell because I don't feel like being hunted down. But what's going on right now is we're merging our stealth technology with cloaking devices, like chameleon skin aircrafts, and three-dimensional holographic imaging, where we can hide airplanes or special stealth crafts inside of a normal airplane, or we can create images or multiple planes, or we can create spheres or glowing balls. These objects can travel in a lower Earth orbit, and they can travel in the mesosphere and the stratosphere. And the reason why they can do that is because no one's inside of some of these objects. They're just light balls. So people are seeing all these gigantic white spheres very slowly pick up speed, disappear, grow, shrink, change color. Those are most likely Project Blue Dream holographic imaging. Now, it disappoints me to tell you this, but that's what a lot of people are seeing. And it's hurtful for me to put so much work in this and finally come to the conclusion. But when I'm seeing an aircraft land at a special airport, and I'm seeing it actually change shape and form before my eyes, we're being duped a little bit. Now, I didn't think it would be the ones that were way up there in low Earth orbit, but they are. In fact, they're so good at what they're doing with the holographic technology, they can actually replicate an identical image of any craft or any light frequency or shape and reproduce it 5, 6, 7 times to create an octagon shape, and they all can rotate in tandem to look like an alien formation that's perfectly mathematically synchronized to one aircraft moves. They all move the same speed, frequency, shape, color, electrical discharge. Everything is duplicated because it's holographically duplicated. It's just one source that creates 8 different images. So if one goes this way, they all can go that way or redirect the other way. Either way, it'll always be the same exact speed, direction, velocity, height. It just takes one craft, as long as you have a light splitter that will create an image and holographically represent it by creating the image, splitting the photon, and then creating the light to produce it to light up, and then the other one produces the image itself. And if you can replicate that multiple times, you could have 100 of those. So people are filming, like myself, these triangles that are going around in perfect formation look alien. That's not 3 separate crafts. That's actually one holographic craft that's producing those images. So as you look at this with holographic planes and chemtrails, well, the chemtrail riddles is pretty easy for me to solve now after doing my own homework. The chemtrails are putting down barium. I've read that. What's barium about? Well, imagine that you're Imagine your old television was a 240p. Then we went to digital, right? When we went to digital, what happened? Went to 1080p, correct? Well, that's your in-home television sets, right? At your house. Now, let's say you're the military-industrial complex, the richest entity in the world with international resources and powers that are connected. Do you know what their television screen is? The sky. They want a better resolution for their, what? Holographic three-dimensional aerospace technology stealth crafts with chameleon skin. They want to have a better image. They want to have an image that is more realistic, so when they can create a fake disc or a triangle or a picture of Jesus or whatever they can think of, Elvis, they want to make it as realistic as possible. So barium is almost like upgrading your television from analog to digital, except they're doing it from an organic standpoint of the sky. What that will do is, let's say they create a disc. Well, that disc might look real, and then it fades away. But what if they could make that disc, that fake holographic disc, that fools everybody and scares them, zoom away, and then all of a sudden you see some smoke or dust or some sort of afterglow. That's where barium comes in. Barium is going to help these holographic three-dimensional images become more realistic, more genuine, more scary, and basically you're upgrading that television set, well, at least the military-industrial complex, you're upgrading that to a 240, 480 to a 1080 Quad HD. It's going to promote the believability factor, and it's going to immerse itself with the organic chemistry of clouds, humidity, maybe twilight or sunrise, sun rays. These holographs with barium is going to help. It's going to better install the graphical effects to make it blend in naturally with the climate and the weather type of conditions in the sky for that certain specific type of region or area and in the globe. And it's also going to, again, it's going to increase the wow factor. It's going to make it more realistic. So also take into consideration with holographic planes that are flying around, that's like a mask of something else is flying out there that we don't know. Well, the other thing that's flying out there are orbs. When you see these crafts that are holographic in nature, just look for them. They have all different colors. They can look like a sphere. They can look like a disc. They can change all different types of shapes and sizes. But if you find one of these, many times, if you're very lucky, you'll see like a star as you're filming it just fall out. But it's not really a star. When you take a closer look and look back at your footage, for those of you that do your own primary research, you'll notice that this light's closer to you than the damn plane itself. Those are orbs. What type of propulsion system do the orbs have? I have no idea, but orbs would be necessary for this type of technology to be rampant amongst the world, because they're most likely cheap. They most likely seem to have some sort of gravity distortion vehicle or some sort of maybe even an anti-gravity device that flies these things around. I don't know. I don't know what propels the orbs. I have no idea. Maybe something electromagnetically, but either way, you can't see them. You're lucky to see them in your video camera, but you're not going to see them with your eye. I can't. So they would use those as a way to position additional holographic effects beyond the actual aircraft that would have 2 or 3 different, projectors on it. So you get a separate replicating orbs. These are the technology that they're trying to discover, where these orbs can maybe replicate themselves, believe it or not. You get those started, it's possible. It's possible. The aircraft that's producing the real major image, the holographic three-dimensional image, could be a chameleon-skinned cloaking device stealth craft. So the projector itself, the main projector, you would never even see, because you can't see these crafts during the daytime or especially night. The only way you see them is if they want you to see them. So they're flying around, and that's the most efficient and effective way to have warfare in the future. You can encrypt some of these holographic messages to where they can never trace it back to the United States or anywhere else, or Russia. They can be placed all over the world for whatever psychological tactics or warfare or deception games they want to play, or counterintelligence. It's like a quad HD huge war video game. My prediction is UFO anomalies are going to increase tenfold these next few years. Tenfold. And it's not going to be CGI. My prediction is that it's going to be real spheres and glowing balls. The only problem is, guys, it's us. Are they all alien reproduction vehicles? No, they're not. Do we have them? Probably. But I don't think we have a mass army of them. They don't need to. So this would be the most feasible way to control, manipulate, and create fear without exposing the risk of crashing our own ARV vehicles that nobody else has, or a TR-3B, like the RQ-170. It would be the most cost-effective, too. I never dreamed they would have the arsenal to pull this off on a global scale. But there are so many of these holographic planes that are flying around. They're not even landing. They're just still around, going in circles all night long. Because the projector, remember, can be placed on the ground too. Doesn't have to be in. And it also could be placed above, possibly in a satellite. Project Bluebeam, remember? So, yeah, they could do it. And you know what? It'd be the cheapest war they ever had in their life. So, I guess what I'm saying is, the only thing that I would add to, I guess, what Greer said, and this is my own opinion for whatever it's worth, is they're not going to be a flood of real ARVs, alien reproduction vehicles. No, it's going to be fake holographic imaging with a couple of probably stealth cloaked aircrafts with the projectors. That's it. But they can do it that way, but they can't do it the other way. I don't think that's logical. Having real crafts and people like nanobots flying it, I don't think so. Thank you for listening. UFO, Mike Cody. There. I admitted it. I messed up. I think it can be done now. So, have a good night.